My name is Sharon McFarlane. I was born and raised here in Island Park. I'm the third generation of family that's lived down here. Well, my mother, she was here since she was born. Her memory, she tells me about roller skating over at the roller rink and going to the movies here and taking the bus into Fall River and getting chow mein and pork pie. I remember my grandmother telling me when she'd come down to the dance hall and they'd win silver dollars, you know, whoever won the dance contest. Me growing up, I remember all of the stores that were left open after we lost our stone bridge, but we had a lot of things up on the main road, which we call Park Avenue. We had 5 and 10 and hardware stores and a bowling alley and variety store on each corner, a drugstore. We had everything here. We didn't have to leave Island Park for anything. It was just a great place to live.
Yeah, my name's Jack. I was born in Fall River. My immediate family moved down here in 1948 when I was 6. Yeah, growing up in Island Park, there was always a lot of kids around. We had water, swimming, boats, and so with all of it, it was a great childhood. The history of Island Park, I guess the first recollections I'd hear was from my parents, mainly my mother. Talked about the amusement park down there and riding the Bullet, which was supposedly the second longest roller coaster in New England, even though the park itself was very small. It was very popular to have these diving horses. Coming out of Atlantic City would be one of them. So this lady would get on a horse and get up on a platform, and they'd have a little bit of water underneath this platform. It was up probably 20 or 30 feet high, and all of a sudden the platform would open up and this horse would go plunging into the water. Also, there was a state beach, but that beach was the best beach I guess we had down here. We had another one. It's called Teddy's Beach now. It's down by the old stone bridge, which is no longer there. And then the '38 hurricane hit, the biggest hurricane in the last 100 years or so. The hurricane I remember was 1954. The '54 hurricane was a big deal around here. It kind of devastated Island Park, and the Sakana River Bridge was getting finished up at that time. But you also had a lot of places down here. You had barber shops down here. You had a couple of grocery stores. We had a theater down here, which when I was a kid, it was like 15 cents to go to the theater. We had a post office. We just had just about everything down here. We were kind of like self-sufficient in that way.
So once the Park Avenue was not the main thoroughfare anymore, a lot of things moved what we would call up the hill. The summer people would still come to their summer homes, but people would not drive. They didn't have to drive through Park Avenue to get to the mainland, so we lost a lot of that everyday traffic. So we had it more or less all to ourselves. Afterwards, people looked down on Island Park. We were looked down on by the kids up the hill. Oh, you come from Island Park. You know, it was nothing here anymore. Just a bunch of cottages that needed fixing up, old summer homes, and it kind of just lost its appeal. Except to the natives. We still love being here.
You know, we always felt that we knew what we had, and now other people are finding out what's here.
It's a perfect place. It's like unfound territory. Things are looking up down here again. People are spending money on fixing up these summer homes. We're building new homes. Who would ever think in Island Park we'd have $1 million houses? But we do.
Housing has become more expensive. And as a result of the more expensive housing, you've got less of the local characters and flavor that we once had down here. That's both good and bad. But the one thing about Island Park is people still know each other. It's a very close-knit community as far as how people are connected. And so we haven't lost that.
There's a lot going on down here now. We have an Island Park Preservation Society. They put on fireworks. They have Christmas tree lighting. They have harvest festivals. Things are coming back. A lot of the old buildings that were businesses have come back and been revitalized. And it's become a destination again. Kind of feeling like what must have been in the old days.
Yeah, I take exception with revitalizing the neighborhood because I always thought that we had everything that we needed down here. I know people on the outside, they're looking and they're saying, oh, and we see a great thing here where we can, make this thing even better. Well, with the good goes the bad, and you end up losing a lot of what made Island Park unique, and we'd hate to lose that.
Well, now the fifth generation coming up would be my son Mike. And he was down in Island Park a lot as a child. And then he moved away and he traveled all over the country. And one weekend he was home and the two of us were up by the seawall. And he looked out and looked at me and he said, "It doesn't get better than this. Let's try to bring Island Park back to life again. Let's make it great."
My name's Mike McFarland, and I'm the owner of Tremblay's Bar and Grill, Blue Anchor Grill, and Sunset Cove in Island Park in the town of Portsmouth, Rhode Island. I would spend my summers here. I'm a single mom who worked, so I'd spend summers with my grandparents here in the neighborhood. I was living in New Jersey for about 20 years, and every time I came back, I kept thinking, God, what a great spot. Eventually, I need to come back here. And finally, in 2016, I had the opportunity to buy Tremblay's, so the time was right for me to buy that, get back to the neighborhood. And after talking to a lot of customers, I realized, like, the perception of the neighborhood isn't my perception. You know, Island Park's better than what a lot of people think it is. So we started with Tremblay's, did a lot to get families back in. A lot of people have never even been to this neighborhood. Like, wow, this is a great spot. We never knew this even existed. And then had the opportunity to buy the building next door, which is now Blue Anchor Grill. So did a more upscale casual. And then last year I had the chance to buy the coffee shop down the street, which is now Sunset Cove.
It's a wonderful place on the water. People are coming there. Their children can play on the lawn. They have special events there. And the most exciting thing this summer was Jimmy Buffett showed up at my son's 50th birthday party quite unexpectedly. And to think that was the last time Jimmy performed live in front of anyone was here in Island Park.
I booked a friend of mine, his name's Mac McAnally, to play a concert behind Sunset Cove outside. And Mac has, for about 40 years, been in Jimmy Buffett's Coral Reefer Band. That day, Mac showed up and pulled me aside and said, "Hey, Jimmy's out on Long Island. He just FaceTimed me. It's a 20-minute flight. He'd like to come up and do a few songs with me. What do you think?" What do I think? You know, how do we make it happen? Got him backstage with nobody singing, nobody knew. So we got, Mac got to his second song, which was 5 o'clock somewhere. And there's a line in the song that says, "At a moment like this, what would Jimmy Buffett do?" Well, Jimmy came from behind the stage, walked up, grabbed the microphone and said,
"I would come play for you."
For me, it was kind of like a full circle with Jimmy Buffett, because when I started going out with my wife, one of the places we'd go dancing, the big song there was Margaritaville. And to have Jimmy Buffett in Island Park, when people didn't think that much of Island Park, and now all of a sudden say, "Hey, Jimmy Buffett's been there."
The reason I still call Island Park my home is because there's a lot of people that still live here that I grew up with. Still, some of the friends I played with are still here, and it's just a lovely community, and I don't know where else I'd rather live than right here.
Geographically, we're surrounded by water. It's absolutely beautiful down here. I can't think of many streets where you have water on the left, water on the right. You've got a sunset view, you've got a sunrise view.
I think what makes Island Park special is the closeness we have to the water and to nature, and we've always had that, and it's a good thing.
The people that live in the community are what make this place great. Everybody down here would help each other out. We've got so many positive, great, honest, caring people down here that's what makes this community great. And that's what brought me back here, was the people. That to me is what it's all about.
I just hope that generations to come can have as much fun and make as many good memories as I have made in Island Park. And we're always looking for people to come on down that hill and see what's really down here. It's really a beautiful spot.